So I've watched the Fantastic Four First Steps movie. Thanks to Marvel Entertainment for inviting me and my friends to the early premiere. But was this movie the right choice to kick off Phase 6? The plot is very simple. It's been 4 years since they got their powers, and the Fantastic Four have been saving the world from multiple threats. But now they're facing a threat they can't seem to escape from. The trick of not making this film an origin story, but instead showing us the Fantastic Four 4 years after they got their powers, that was a smart move. Here, the Fantastic Four are already everyone's favorites. They're always ready to save people. But the events of this movie aren't happening in the main Marvel Cinematic Universe, they're taking place in another universe. However, it's never justified why the story is happening in a different universe. The movie features Marvel's most famous cosmic being Galactus, and his story is hinted at through dialogues. And the way Galactus' story is portrayed with comic book accuracy in these dialogues is nothing short of a treat for fans like me. Silver Surfer's storyline is also very comic accurate. And along with all this, the film does a great job of following the source material for our heroes. In the comics, every member of this team carries emotional pain, like Reed Richards' guilt, Ben Grimm's sadness about his appearance, and Johnny's frustration that no one takes him seriously. All of that is shown really well in the movie. Plus, there are some moments here that I would call peak moments of the film. Some fans argue whether superhero movies should have peak moments or not, and I always say they absolutely should, and this movie has them. The movie also brings Sue's story into focus. That too, with powerful family themes. With all this description, I'd like to say Marvel has perfectly made the Fantastic Four a part of the Marvel Cinematic Multiverse. Though, I'm surprised that the movie's been trimmed down, and you'll clearly notice it. The movie's bookend reflects this perfectly. Because of this trimming, the pacing has become faster. But one thing is clear, if you know the Prelude comic story before watching this movie, you'll connect with it even better. You can get that story from my Before You Watch Fantastic Four First Steps video, so make sure to check that out. However, there is one problem, even in this amazing Fantastic Four movie, the same problem almost every Marvel movie is facing right now, the absence of interconnectivity. This is one of the biggest expectations from Marvel fans, and this movie doesn't fulfill that. At least, not for now. Maybe in the future, the connections will start to appear. Now let's talk about direction. The movie is directed by Matt Shakman, who previously made WandaVision for Marvel. And just like WandaVision, Matt brings in that 60-second style here. Alongside that, we're shown a family expecting a child. This is something Matt already showed us in WandaVision, and he repeats that element here. But what I really liked is that Matt shows us a perfect family dynamic. That shows how much love he had for this project. On top of that, after seeing early reactions, he also trimmed down the movie, which made the pacing even better. The movie doesn't take too long in setup and moves straight into the action. The writers also deserve praise for giving us a strong Fantastic Four movie with many peak moments. As for the interconnectivity issue, I would hold Marvel Studios responsible. They're not taking risks right now, and that shows even in the mid-credit scene of this movie. Talking about the acting, the lead of the film is Sue Storm, played by Vanessa Kirby. And the powerful Sue Storm she delivers is something else. A mother ready to do anything for her family. Pedro Pascal plays Reed Richards, and he's a very different kind of Reed. Throughout the film, he seems more troubled and less like a genius scientist. Intelligent moments help portray a character as smart, but there were fewer such moments for Reed. Eben Moss-Bachrach plays the Thing, and his portrayal brings an incredible New York vibe. He even adds a bit of his Richie touch from The Bear. Joseph Quinn's performance shows a lot of range, and he proves it here while carrying a B story alongside the main arc. Julia Garner's Shalabow had a complete arc too, and her CGI look was impressive. Her movements were very well done. Natasha Lyonne's role had been a secret until now, but in the movie, she appears as Rachel Rosman. Her role wasn't big, but it was good. But the heart of the movie was Galactus. With Ralph Ineson's voice, the gravity he brought to Galactus stole the entire show. This is what you call perfect casting. I would praise Robert Downey Jr. too, but he's not in the movie. Overall, I'd say this is a good Fantastic Four film. This is exactly the kind of introduction I had imagined from Marvel's first family, complete with strong comic book accuracy. As for Phase 6, it's a solid start. But while this was a proper Fantastic Four movie, it wasn't an MCU movie. That's why fans might still feel the lack of interconnectivity. Now, if you ask me, should this movie be watched in theaters? The answer is simple, yes. Watch it in IMAX. See Galactus on the biggest screen possible. That's the only way he deserves to be seen. Just be careful. You might catch a Galactus punch in IMAX 3D. There is one mid-credit scene and one post-credit scene. The mid-credit scene is important, but you can skip the post-credit scene. It's not essential. Also, keep an eye on the comments. Some people are leaking stuff without knowing the context, so be careful.